So, this is your moment. Anyone who would like to speak, talk about your experience, ask a question. Share a story. Conway, you're raising your hand. I see it.
Well, I just wanted to say I appreciate you bringing up again the image of the back of the heart, and what's back there as a supportive space or an environment or something like that. That's pretty good for me to think about it that way. And I had forgotten that. You mentioned that years ago. And I also really liked you sharing about the magnetic
Field. Yeah.
Field emanating from everyone's heart and 20-foot radius. That's a really cool image. So thank you for that. And I wanted to share an experience that I had that something happened to me. I was in Montreal, and I was on the street, and I made brief eye contact with this guy, and then I turned around, and I was with my child, Alex, who's 28. And all of a sudden, this guy is grabbing me from the shoulder from behind and starts yelling at me. So I spun around. He grabbed the front of my shirt, and I knocked his arm away. And he began to verbally accost me, like he said things like, "What do you think you're doing? What's wrong with you?" And I realized that the person was not right. But I was very scared. So, he's accosting us verbally. I get Alex to go into the ice cream shop. When they were safe, I went in there, and then the guy came into the shop. And meanwhile, people are watching. And it was interesting because 3 queer women that were sitting at a table that Alex sat down at and tried to hide, they were willing to help. But these 3 men that were coming towards me when I was on the street, I tried to catch their attention, and these men didn't help this other man. But the reason I bring it up really is because I thought about, because you don't know what's behind you, and in this case, there was something dangerous behind me, so, but in the end, when I reflected on all of it, I handled it pretty well. But if I had been able to have the mindset, which you have been talking about as one of calmness, I think I could have handled it much better. Nothing bad happened. There was no actual punches or anything, and the guy ended up leaving. But it really threw me off,
I bet.
Yeah.
Such a surprise.
Yeah, a big surprise. So, reflecting, I thought, okay, well, I handled that pretty well. But next time, if it were to happen again, I thought, well, it would be really good to be able to try to talk this person down a little bit, rather than taking a stance of aggressive posturing, waiting to be struck by the person,
Yeah.
Hey, what did I do? What's the matter? That kind of thing. But as calm of a person as I am and appear to be to others, like when something like that happens, it's like, whoa, and all you're in your defensive mode. You can't flee.
The instincts tend to take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, yeah, but coming full circle, I like that idea of the back of the heart and behind you being a supportive place and a place of strength.
Yeah, it's very different than the more popular view, that you're going to be knifed in the back or somehow, stab in the back kind of viewpoint.
Mm.
It's very different. It's very different to walk through life.
Mm.
And of course, within the Buddhist tradition, the foundation of safety is your own goodwill, karmically, that if you put out goodwill, it creates safety around you. That, of course, isn't perfect. You could be putting out goodwill and, get murdered. It's not a guarantee, but that there is actually a link between what it is that you kind of radiate and your very safety walking through the world. So I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And it all turned out okay. Thanks for the story.
It was a great lesson, actually. It was a great lesson to think about it later. Like, okay, well, should I take some self-defense classes? Should I think more about how to talk someone down?
Mm-hmm.
So, it ended up being a rich experience.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. This notion of the heart having an actual measurable magnetic field, I like playing with it sometimes because it can explain some things. Many people have the experience of knowing when somebody else is looking at them from behind, or knowing when somebody is, just there without it necessarily hearing anything. It's possible, if a machine can measure a magnetic field, that the human being can feel those sorts of things. It's possible that we can feel each other's hearts, quite literally, because of this field. And all this is somewhat speculative, not necessarily scientifically verified, though I think there are some people who are trying to do some of this research. But it gives me pause in terms of, that the state of mind that you walk through the world is actually felt by other people. That what's in the heart affects other people in this kind of way and will influence their response to you as well, of what it is that you're. And when you are putting out goodwill, for example, there is a way that you appear more harmless to other people. You don't necessarily arouse aggression. Just as an example of how this sort of stuff might actually work, but I'm being somewhat speculative here. But that notion, I do find it interesting. The possibility that we do really feel each other's presence that way on an almost kind of sixth sense way. They have, discovered that, for instance, cattle align themselves with the Earth's magnetic field by, doing sort of aerial photography of cows standing in the fields, and noticing that a proportion of them that's not just random are actually standing along the north-south kind of axis of the Earth's magnetic fields. So it's becoming more and more clear in a lot of animal studies that many animals actually navigate with a sense of the Earth's magnetic field. They're actually tied into the Earth's field. That's pretty cool. And so if I can just make it a little more poetic, it's like they feel the Earth's heart, so to speak. They're oriented to the the feel that the Earth creates in some fundamental way in their bodies, in their senses, I don't know that people know with what sense animals are able to pick up on this magnetic field, but they're convinced that they do respond to it. And wouldn't it be also interesting if we human beings pick up on each other's heart field, magnetic field, and that we're communicating that way? And does it work by Zoom? Don't know. All right, so Jim, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. I've been aware of this magnetic energetic field that you're talking about right now. And I think, doesn't necessarily have to be 20 feet. It could be it could be a lot bigger.
Well, it's possible that some people's hearts radiate farther than others. It's completely
Absolutely.
possible.
Yeah. So I think about that when I enter a room, and I'm thinking, wow, everybody's field is meshing in some way.
Yeah.
And why is it that there are some people I'm attracted to, I gravitate towards, other people I wish to stay away from without even speaking to them, without even knowing these people. And I think that's really interesting.
It is.
Yes. So that's, my observation.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. We share similar curiosity about these things.
Yeah.
All right. Who else might have something to offer here? How has your practice been going of faith? What have you noticed? What do you feel you've learned? We'd love to hear more from people about that. Hey, Victor.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I had a moment of faith on Monday. My sweetie and I went all the way up to Canada to join a march that was for asylum seekers. People of good heart were coming from Montreal all the way down to Roxham Road, where 20,000 immigrants crossed, and we couldn't find the route of the march, and we couldn't find on Facebook, where they were, but we just kept pursuing with faith where they might be, and we followed a route where they might be, and then we knew where they started, couldn't find it, and so we Googled the route to the stopping place, and then we took that road, and boom, there they were.
Lovely.
So that was we were kind of tuning into them and their excitement, and but then it was a hot day. It was the end of the road and at the end of the line, and the guy said, "Well, did you sign up? Like, I don't know if you can join us." So he had faith. He said, "Yeah, come on. Like, you can march with us." And I was just low, and I was in a lot of fear for a while, and they were French. So I thought, okay, got my hat on, got my sunscreen on, jumped out there, and my legs haven't been feeling great either. So legs, language, fear, sun. I just popped out there, and I thought I'll find someone to talk to. And I had my sign, and they were joyful. They were good folks, and I actually started speaking French, and
that took courage. Yeah.
It just threw myself in there. Yeah. I mean, what else I was going to do? I came all this way to be with them. And then I started talking to a woman who was carrying her baby, and she spoke some English because she realized my French was, halting. And then I was alone for a while and found other people. And then over the space of a couple hours, I really, really relaxed, and my French was serviceable. It came up, and I had some fun with people because most people were bilingual, some were not, but learned a lot, relaxed a lot, and it just came from an impulse to just throw myself in there and do it.
There you go. You trusted that you could meet what arises.
Yeah, I could endure it. I could meet it.
Endure it.
It was quite fun and beautiful. And then at
Yeah.
the end, the woman I talked to most, she was very outgoing, giving pamphlets and whatnot. She sent several pictures of the end of the march and us together that I really were very joyful. Very, very sweet to get that. So,
Yeah. I mean, did you find, Victor, that when you kind of throw yourself into a situation like that, that it lifts you, it lifts your mood a bit because of you just kind of meeting things as they come.
It was a big lift. It was like from a 1.5 to about an 8.5 by the
Oh,
end.
that's a big lift.
Yeah.
That's a big lift. Good. I'm happy for you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks. So, Catalina.
Hello.
Hello.
I am right now in the middle of starting the program that I direct multi-hours. And for me, is so stressful. Is managing lives, is the safety of the children and it really is. I think this is my 23rd year of managing that.
Wow,
but
23
still,
years.
23 years. But every year, for me, it feels like too much. This risk of having all these lives and having these children that unpredictable, with other adults is they know that you cannot cross a street, that you shouldn't be jumping from a table, but these kids is like, oh, let me try this. It's like, so it's like I am very stressed, extremely stressed. And this year that my daughter is the camp director over there, but I have to go today, and I start to see these children jumping, running, doing things, and then the teacher not paying attention. And I got nuts. I like, oh my God, I cannot handle this. This is not for me anymore. But at the same time, it's like, I have to have faith. I have to have faith that the children, they are not going to, they are not going to have an accident. They in a way, they are running, but they are not going to do something really dangerous. But I am in a position right now. I'm in the option that in the fork of in a way of saying, like, you have to trust 23 years of doing this. I have children, I have grandchildren, so in a way, like, they survive, And so I am in the fork of of really falling apart, of nervousness, that and getting sick, physically sick of having all these energies and all these risks that we are living through, and they were like, let go, and hope that things are organized in a certain way that nothing is going to happen. So I'm just wanted to share that. It's like, I am in the
You
middle
are
of
really
like
in the fire right now of
in the
trust or
pure
fear.
fire.
It's really very moment to
Yes.
moment,
Moment to
very
moment.
real
Yes.
situation. And
Yes.
having been a parent, I know that feeling of, chaos could erupt at any moment.
Mm.
The unpredictability. I
Yes.
have total admiration for people who are able to run a whole classroom of that. And
Yes.
so, you have my great
Yeah.
respect, and encouragement to see what the possibilities are of relaxing, trusting. Trusting doesn't mean not making good decisions, or not thinking ahead. There's an element of that, but you've had 23 years of experience. I imagine you know this territory pretty well by now. And can you actually rest on that a bit, on your experience, and trust?
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
so good luck, Catalina. I think you got a big one. And
Yeah, I'm trying to say like, oh, be in the body, be here, not it's going to happen. Oh, God, this is going to happen. It's like here now,
yeah.
but it's like, oh my goodness, good
And
challenge.
there is a reality of aging where
Yeah.
doing things like air traffic control is, you can't quite do it as well. So I want to acknowledge that too, that as you age, that sort of job is going to be more difficult. So
Yeah. I would say I prefer to go meditate, like no problem. Play the oboe, play a concert. And I'm going to play a concert this week that is like, only one rehearsal. I cannot believe it. But I prefer that to this uncertainty of having all this life and all these families and all this, it's the thing also about their reputation and knowing the five remembrances that you can lose everything, and it's
You
so
can
easy
lose anything,
to lose
yes.
everything. And in this situation, like especially, I'm going to talk about this, but it's like Amherst with the superintendent. I knew him. I know he is a very integrate person, knowledgeable, respectful, and everything. And now everything is like we are going to judge him and we are to sue him. We are like, is this world that we live is so volatile, and wanting to blame anyone because of the children, their own children are not achieving or whatever. So I know I am in a very volatile, anything can fire. So yeah, I think I'm touching also that part of the five remembers, and that everything that you have, you can lose it. And it has been so much work, and it's so much work, but at the same time, like I know everything goes out of the window. So
yeah, it's a powerful practice. The five remembrances. For those of you who don't know what Catalina is referring to, you might have to help me, Catalina, but it's 5 statements of truth, really, about life and impermanence, dealing with aging, sickness, death, and
losing everything.
And losing everything. Yes,
yep.
To meditate on that, to kind of set the context for every day, both that you appreciate what is present and you relate to it with truth, that there's no guarantee,
And for sure there is the guarantee that you're going to get old.
It's
the warranty
yes.
that you're going to be sick. It's the warranty that you're going to die.
There is a guarantee that you will lose everything that you know.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
There is a guarantee there.
Yeah. So it's like, that's why I'm like in the middle of everything. So
all right.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck. Good practice. It's not all luck. All right. Anyone else? Well, people aren't rushing to the door here, but one way that I sometimes end courses that I like is to do a loving kindness meditation with people. So we could take the last bit of class here to do that together. So if you want to settle in however you wish to do this. So loving kindness is that quality of heart which wishes well for people. And so just recalling that feeling inside of yourself, one of the classical images is to imagine a mother holding her only child. Imagine what that would feel like. Perhaps you've been a mother holding your only child, or several children, or a father, or a sister, or an aunt or uncle kind of situation. If you know this experience, it also works with animals, I think. We so easily feel loving kindness toward our animals. So just take a moment to recall that feeling of just wishing well for another being, a certain kind of love. And then begin by directing that love to yourself. That goodwill toward yourself. It's taking a moment to reflect that you wish to be happy, and yet life is difficult and challenging. You're not perfect. No one is. And so if you can just feel tenderly towards yourself as a being, one way to do this is to visualize yourself. Another is to just kind of feel the body and radiate goodwill through the body. And then say a phrase that can reflect this intention. The classic phrases are, may I be safe. May I be happy. May I be well. May I live with ease of being. And so thinking about that magnetic field of the heart, let that magnetic field carry this beautiful, loving intention toward yourself, surround you, radiate you with a goodwill. If you find this hard to do, if instead you feel, dislike of yourself, step back a bit from yourself. Imagine you can just sort of step back from yourself and see the being you are having trouble loving yourself. Sometimes that will allow you to love yourself, just to see that truth. It's hard for you to love yourself. It might move you to a little bit of self-love. So go ahead and say those phrases or other phrases just that express goodwill toward yourself. Now express that goodwill, or send that goodwill to everybody in the class. They're all here in a Hollywood Square sort of way. And you've come to know them to varying degrees. So just offer them your goodwill. Each and every one of us wishes to be happy and struggles with life in some way. No one really gets out of that. Offer each and every person your goodwill. And I'm going to throw in just my respect for all of you for coming to a class on this and wanting to educate yourself and cultivate wholesome qualities. May each and every one of you be safe. May each and every one of you be happy. May you all be well. And may you be at ease. And I want to mention John, who John and Kate come together to this class and use the same video. And John is having an operation today. So let's send him a particular dose of our goodwill that at this point went well. Actually, it might be tomorrow. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if it's happened or not. But anyway, send goodwill in his direction and in Kate's. But there's a lot of worry that goes with this. May they have all the love and equanimity they need. And then radiate this out toward people in the world around you. You can start with the people closest to you, your family at home, your neighbors, your town. Just imagine all of these beings who live in your community, all wishing to be happy, all finding life difficult in some way. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they live with ease of being. And out further, to include all of New England, all of the United States, North America, out into the world, to include all human beings, all 8 billion of us. May we be safe. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all live with ease of being. And include the animals in that sphere of goodwill. All the sentient beings of this planet, the animals, the plants, the fungi, the nematodes, all the sentient beings of this planet, and those who are unseen to us that may also share this world, and out into the universe in all directions, to beings everywhere, unknown to us, on this plane of existence and on other planes of existence. May they all be safe. May they all be happy. May they all be healthy. May they all live with ease of being. Sabe sata sukha hontu. May all beings be happy.